A lot of changes have been going on in the Chiefs secondary, and at the cornerback position in particular, there's one guy that stands out as a leader, and some of his role is changing as well. Let's talk about Kendall Fuller and what it means for the Chiefs secondary. Welcome back to RGR, folks. Lot going on out at training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're into that pre-game role now. They're coming up to their first preseason game that's going to really give us a much better perspective on where they are in each position group, but a couple in particular. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscription, the notification. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and leave your comments below. Spread the word and share it around. We have a lot going on, and this team is on the rise. Plenty coming. Now, in fact, there's so much going on that I'm kind of changing the way I'm doing these videos this week as I'm getting ready to go to training camp for the beginning of next week. Not as much edit time for me right now, so I'm going to give you my thoughts and then play you the clips of what the players have had to say kind of all in a row rather than all the editing that I usually do. So a little bit more streamlined process, but you'll still get to hear the players in their own words and what I'm taking from it. So with that said, Kendall Fuller, the day that they went in for Lightning, got to speak to the media and was pretty definitive in a couple of different things that I think are really key for what's going on with this team right now. Learning is really the key to what's going on right now, and Fuller really stressed that not only he, but the entire DB group is learning how this particular coaching staff wants things done, how they're going to attack different schemes, what they're going to do on the field. And that's significant change for some of these guys in that you have to learn multiple positions. And he in particular, it was interesting that Kendall Fuller pointed out that he's had a different defensive coordinator every season he's been in the league. That's a lot of learning to do. And when you're constantly in that role, it does take a little bit of your instinctualness away, just because you're trying to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing while playing fast, and that's really the key. So I think what you'll see is, again, a progression of both him as well as the rest of the DBs through the beginning of this season. Then about mid-season, they'll hit their streak, and I think they'll know more instinctually where they want to be. And that can't be more so for anybody besides Demontre Wade, who, because of injuries and a couple of hiccups, has gotten more time than we expected when training camp started. And to hear Fuller say it, he really has come in and been confident and been able to learn and be resilient. That's really key at that particular position that should have a very short memory. But that's good to hear that Kendall, in his role as really the leader of the group, can see that Wade filling in is a positive and that he's coming along. That's something they're going to have to key on because attrition in this league is always going to happen. You're always going to need that fourth corner. And I talked about that a lot on the podcast this season, so you can go back and listen to some of those conversations if you like. But the other interesting thing about it is that really emphasized with the news this week that he's going to play predominantly in the slot, which is really not anything new because Fuller played 78% of his snaps last season in the slot. Yes, he did move around and was designated to move around outside, but it was still way more in the slot than outside of it. But he emphasized today that even though that they're saying he's going to play predominantly in slot, he's expecting 80 to 90%, which means nickel and dime looks the majority of the time. The other interesting thing about that is that he's priding himself on being a defensive back and being a complete football player, and something that this staff in particular is really emphasizing. And that's good to hear because you want to see guys have a little bit more varied role. He has good speed, as do some of the other DBs. We've heard about Tyrann Mathieu blitzing a lot. Sounds like Fuller's going to get a little bit. And from that interior slot position, that's a great blitz chess piece. So you want to see that coming along and being a little bit more varied. But being a DB is what he describes as, a varied role. You have to play some safety. You're going to switch things up. You're going to play some outside, play some inside. There's going to be switches. Motion are going to change some things. You're going to have some handoffs, but you're also going to have some times where you're going to have to do things that maybe aren't built into what your game plan was. That variability and that, again, versatility, the term of the offseason, is going to come into play. So that's something they're going to lean on very heavily, and we've seen so far, and I think we're going to see week one as well. And I think from his perspective, another really interesting thing is to, we'll listen to him here about how he feels the defense is starting to come together.
It's been good. I think every day we're just learning. I think one thing that we've been preaching is just trying not to make the same mistake twice. Knowing that knowing that we're not going to be perfect, but also trying to chase perfection. So just learning, everybody learning what they're doing and also what the guy next to you is doing and just trying to get better, learn each other's strengths and weaknesses and things like that.
What are your feelings about it? Yeah, how did you take the news that you're going to do solo the slot this year? Is that something you're looking forward to? What was your thought process on?
I mean, me, I just always just been controlling what I can control, just going out there. I think somebody had an interview just now. They told me slot is like 80, 90%. So, just going out there and just knowing the task at hand, playing inside, just the different type of guys you got to guard, the responsibility that you have in there. So just really just focusing on that and just locking in on it, and then just, like I said, just really just trying to learn the ins and outs of the defense.
The fact that that is a natural fit for you, is that something you agree with? Just when you hear that, what do you think?
I mean, I think coming in when I went to Virginia Tech, we had our DB coach. He just always preached us on learning how to be a DB, not just learning how to play one position. And I think that's one thing that, in this system, the nickel does. You have to do a lot of different things. They ask you to do a lot of different things. So, you're out there, some people would say you're just playing one position, but the way you're playing it is almost as if you're playing corner, nickel, safety, and all that. So it's been fun.
Some of the coaches have mentioned that right now the corners are all just competing. They're trying to evaluate what they have in that group. What have you seen from what you guys have in the cornerback position right now?
Yeah, just a lot of guys that's everybody's learning the system, trying to help each other out to learn the system, and just just healthy competition. Because at the end of the day, all year we want to be competing with each other. Whatever guys are here, we want to be competing. Whatever guys that are coming in, we want to compete, get each other better. And I think that's where the best rooms come in at, where it's just healthy competition, guys trying to help each other out, learn the system together, and things like that. So it's been fun.
Demontre Wade got to take snaps when Bashaud Breeland was out with the thumb issue. What did you see out of him stepping right in and running with the ones?
Yeah, he looked good. He didn't lose a beat. He stayed confident. So I'm excited to see what he keeps doing the rest of the camp. Say that one more time.
You had to come over last year to learn a new system. Now you're learning another new system. Compare where you were last year to where you are right now.
I mean, I think for me, I've had a different D coordinator every year in the league. So it's kind of the same thing. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's all the same thing. Sometimes it's different terminology, different things that y'all might do more of, less of, and things like that. But once you get to a certain level and you start understanding football, a lot of the stuff you're kind of just doing the same things, just learning different terminology, learning the little ins and outs that might be in it. But it's definitely, I think anytime you get to learn a new system and be with a different coach, you're able to learn so much more than you did the year before. So it's been fun.
Is there of you that's excited about playing the slot exclusively or primarily just because Spagnuolo has used that position in the past for blitzing? You may be able to blitz more than what you did a year ago?
I mean, for me, it's really exactly the same. I mean, besides, it might be a couple games where you might have a little bit more base than normal, but whether I'm inside, outside, mainly 90% of the time, I'm in the slot, even if I was going inside, outside. So for me, thinking of it, I guess people can make a big deal out of it, but I'm being in the slot. Just like last year, I was in the slot. So it's kind of the same thing for me.
With a couple more.
Do you like the idea of blitzing more? The idea of maybe coming off the edge?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you get some sacks, I know DBs always enjoy getting some sacks, but it's not like he's just gonna be blitzing me every play. Still gonna have to cover, still gonna have to drop in some zones, disguising and things like that. So, the one thing that he asks the nickels to do is be well-rounded, do a lot of different things, be a football player, that's something that I enjoy doing.
Does the defense in the meetings or on the field feel like a different sense of enthusiasm or anything compared to last year? You got a bunch of different faces and new coaches. Does it feel different?
I mean, anytime you're going through change, it's gonna feel different. I think, like I said, for me, I've had a different D coordinator every single year. So each year going into it, it's exciting because you got a new staff, new position coaches, different personalities. So every year you go into change, it's gonna be some excitement. So it's definitely been fun. And like I said, we're just all learning each other, just trying to get better, come together as one. So we just gotta keep on doing that and just keep on getting better day in, day out.
Kendall,
Last one.
Tyreek Hill missed the whole offseason. How has he looked going up against him every day? Has he skipped a beat? Just what have you seen?
Yeah, he's been looking good. We definitely want to get him back onto the field, especially him being out. But he's definitely been looking good, fun to go against. Just gives you a different type of guy to line up against in practice. I love just the different receivers we got, different skill sets and things like that. So being able to go from Tyreek to Sammy to D-Rob to Dieter, just getting different type of fields of receivers every day in practice has definitely been helpful for us.
So that's it from Kendall Fuller, the leader of this cornerback group. What do you think? How confident are you in this particular position group and where they're going as they're getting ready this week to go into their first preseason game? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Check out these videos, and I'll talk to you next time.